Numbers chapter 21. And the Canaani, the king of Arad, who dwelt in the south, heard tell that Yishrael came by the way of Atharim, and he fought against Yishrael, and took some of them captive. And Yishrael vowed a vow to Yahweh, and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will devote their cities. And Yahweh hearkened to the voice of Yishrael, and delivered up the Canaanim, and they devoted them and their cities. And the name of the place was called Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way to the Red Sea, to compass the land of Vedom, and the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spoke against God and against Moshe. For what reason have ye brought us up out of Mithraim to die in this wilderness? For there is no bread, and there is no water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And Yahweh sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Yishrael died. And the people came to Moshe and said, We have sinned, because we have spoken against Yahweh and against thee. Pray to Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us. And Moshe prayed for the people. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a standard, and it shall become that every one that is bitten, when he seeth it, shall live. And Moshe made a serpent of brass, and set it upon the standard. And it was, that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he looked to the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Yishrael journeyed, and encamped in Orboth. And they journeyed from Orboth, and encamped at Iye-abarim, in the wilderness which is before Moab, toward the sun rising. From thence they journeyed and encamped in the valley of Zered. From thence they journeyed and encamped on the other side of the Arnon, which is in the wilderness, that cometh out of the border of the Amorim. For the Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorim. For what reason it is said in the book of the wars of Yahweh, Waheb in Supah, and the valleys of the Arnon, and the slope of the valleys that inclineth toward the dwelling of Ar, and leaneth upon the border of Moab. And from thence they journeyed to Beer, that is, the well whereof Yahweh said to Moshe, Gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then sang Yishrael this song, Spring up, O well, sing ye to it. The well, which the princes digged, which the nobles of the people delved, with the scepter and with their staves. And from the wilderness they journeyed to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahliel, and from Nahliel to Barmoth, and from Barmoth to the valley that is in the field of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looketh down upon the desert. And Yishrael sent messengers to Sihon, king of the Amorim, saying, Let me pass through thy land. We will not turn aside into field or into vineyard. We will not drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway, until we have passed thy border. And Sihon would not give Yisrael to pass through his border, but Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Yisrael into the wilderness, and came to Yahaz, and he fought against Yisrael. And Yisrael smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from the Arnon to the Yabbok, even to the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Yisrael took all these cities, and Yisrael dwelt in all the cities of the Amorim, in Heshbon, and in all the towns thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorim, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even to the Arnon. For what reason they that speak in Proverbs say, Come ye to Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and established. For a fire is gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It hath devoured Ar of Moab, the lords of the high places of the Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab! Thou art undone, O people of Chemosh! He hath given his sons as refugees, and his daughters into captivity, to Sihon, king of the Amorim. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished, even to Dibon, and we have laid waste, even to Nophah, which reacheth to Medeba. Thus Yisrael dwelt in the land of the Amorim, and Moshe sent to spy out Yazer, and they took the towns thereof, and drove out the Amorim that were there. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people, and his land, and thou shalt do to him as thou didst to Sihon, king of the Amorim, who dwelt at Heshbon. So they smote him, and his sons, and all his people, until there was none left him remaining, and they possessed his land.